Normally, if you're surrounded by a large crowd, you're probably just following the crowd. You're not the leader of the crowd. To be alone is to be focused on what truly matters to you. Hey, it's Eliana back with another episode of the Honest Truth Podcast, Stuck to Free Edition. And today I wanted to discuss what it really takes to become successful. And a part of that really is isolating yourself and taking the time for yourself to work on what you want to evolve in, and to also work on yourself and the way that you see yourself and the way that you approach things. Because the honest truth is, if you are always focused on pleasing other people, if you're always focused on spending time with other people, where is all that energy and thought going? It's going to please those people, and we're in a world where people pleasing really gets you nowhere unless if you're selling something to that person. So in this episode, we're going to talk about to be delusional is to be focused. We're going to talk about how isolation usually occurs when you start to grow. You're going to grow out of people, you're going to grow out of things, you're going to grow out of your toxic environment. And we're also going to discuss what that looks like and how it's going to impact you. The first part that we are going to really dive into is what it looks like when you start to grow and why it is a very hard thing to do. So I like to explain to people that growth, especially when it's a big goal, such as maybe getting your dream body, maybe building a YouTube career like I am, you are going to be climbing a steep hill for a very long time, and a lot of the times you're going to fall down that hill. Normally, other people, the majority of the population, is not going to want to climb a hill that they're most likely going to tumble back on multiple times and have to climb up, because they do not want the challenge. And a part of growth is realizing that the challenge is climbing that hill, and the experience is what is the most important part, not the end goal. Because anything that's important is going to be very difficult and challenge you, and it's going to make you want to quit. It's going to make you think that you're failing. And a part of that is when you choose the route that other people don't want to go on, you're going to lose a lot of people in that. You're going to sacrifice a lot of things that you think are important now. For example, if you haven't grown yet and you're worried about it, you're going to start with this big friend group that you may go out with and drink all the time, that you may go do dumb crap that wastes your time. But once you start, for example, you want to get a degree in medicine. Once you start studying, once you stop going out, once you stop smoking with your friends all the time, those people that you thought were your friends are going to show their real colors and no longer be around for you. And it's not because it's a reflection of who you are. It's because it's a reflection of who they are and the fact that they don't want to grow. So that's a really big part of aiming for any of your goals, is that you are going to have to sacrifice what you think is your life to step into the best version of yourself and the life that you want. So let's talk about part 2 of that. If you want to become something bigger than what you are today, you have to start acting like the person and living the life that you want. Once you're rich, once you have that dream job, once you have that dream body, what does the future version of yourself do when they first wake up? What does the future version of yourself eat? What content do they ingest? What are they doing with their day? Who are they talking to? Are they talking to anybody? What is the goal? Who are you going to be, and what do you want to embody when you do it? So a huge part of embodying the future version of yourself is you're going to feel crazy. You're going to feel delusional because you're technically faking it until you're making it. But nobody that is successful started successful. The majority of the best people in your niche or what you want to do started with absolutely nothing. And a great example of this is David Goggins. David Goggins did not start by running marathons. He did not start as a Navy SEAL. He started feeling like he was the biggest piece of shit, and he realized how much he hated himself and his life, and that he realized he was going to contribute nothing to society, and made something of himself. Not because anyone believed in him. His wife didn't believe in him. He had nothing. He was so delusional that he moved across the country and started a new life over and over again. Even when his legs, he thought, were broken, he continued going. And you know why? Because he was delusional. You have to be crazy. You have to be so delusional in believing in your dream and who you are going to become that it's almost crazy. It's almost an obsession. Because if you don't, I'm sorry, but it just doesn't mean enough to you. And when things get hard and feel impossible, when somebody tells you no, you're going to give up and you're going to be like the majority of the population. And growth isn't for the majority of the population. Growth is for people who believe in themselves to the point that nobody can tell them no. Nobody can tell them who they are because they know who they're going to become. And that has to be you if you want to make something that's good of yourself. So let's talk about that. To grow and to become the best version of yourself, you have to be delusional. And what does that look like? That looks like, for example, when I was diagnosed with weightlifter's arthritis at 19 years old, I'm almost 21 now, and I'm working out every single day and still lifting heavy weight. If I would have been like, damn, I can't do this anymore because the doctors told me it's not possible, and I would have given up then, if I would not went to physical therapy, if I would have not been relentless about the fact that I wanted to be a bodybuilder, that I wanted to be an athlete, that I knew who I was supposed to be, I would have given up on this dream and never became who I was today, and I would have been a lazy couch potato because nothing else meant anything to me. I would have done nothing with my life if I wasn't obsessed with who I am and who I want to become. So, just a reminder that to make anything happen, you have to be delusional. You have to. There's no other choice. You have to think that way. If I don't do this, there's no other option. You should not have a plan B if you want to be successful, because if you have something to fall back on, you're not going to figure out the plan A when shit goes really wrong. So, part of being delusional is really keeping in mind a part of plan A. The most important part is realizing that no one is going to support you because people cannot support something they haven't seen the results in. Meaning that people are going to think you're cringe. People are going to laugh at you. No one's going to support you because they haven't seen the end result. So you have to have that confidence in yourself that this is going to work and that what I'm saying is legit. What I'm doing is legit. You do not need reassurance from anybody else. So you have to be delusional about that part too, that you already have everything that you want as long as you keep that behavior going. Because no one's going to support you, no one's going to show up for you, no one's going to save you, no one's going to like your videos at first, no one's going to like your fitness transformation at first. You're just going to be that fat person that everyone laughs at because you don't have that 8-pack yet. So you really have to keep in mind that misery loves company. And if you are growing something for yourself, if you're doing something for yourself, no one's going to like it. No one's going to like it because they don't have the balls to do the same thing, and it's easier to hate on you than support you because they can't even support themselves. So that's something to keep in mind as well. A part of plan A is starting today. Yes, if you're listening to this and you have a goal that you want to do, but you're too afraid because your job won't support it, your family won't support it, you think you don't have enough money, you don't think you're ever going to obtain that, start today or never do it at all. Because if you do not start today, every single day you want to start, you're going to say, oh, I don't have time today. I'm too tired. Let me start tomorrow. Oh, my eye bags are too big today. I can't film today. Oh, well, I don't have time to work out because, at that time I usually FaceTime my girlfriend. No. If you want to do something, you start today and you make it no other option. Because if you don't make time for yourself, if you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect even in the future for someone to want to listen to you, to believe in you? A part of being delusional and wanting change in your life is having the self-respect and discipline to show up every day and do it. You have to stay consistent and you have to believe in your consistency. You have to show up. Otherwise, you're just going to be like the rest of the population, and that's fine. But this podcast isn't for the common population. This podcast is for people listening that want to become unstoppable, that want to grow to the biggest version of themselves. Seriously, though. Your excuses and your need to be around people and be reassured by people will always be the reason why you will never make something of yourself. If you are always full of excuses, if you're always excusing yourself and your behavior, you're never going to do anything because you're comforting yourself. And if you're stuck in a state of comfort, guess what? You're going to stay on that couch because there's no reason to leave your comfy bed because you don't respect yourself. You need that discipline to realize that comfort, those toxic friends, that alcohol, smoking weed all the time, and doing nothing else will always get in the way of what truly matters. And if you don't want a meaningful life, that's perfectly fine. But if you want a meaningful life, you have to stop making excuses for yourself. You have to stop letting comfort rule your life and put yourself in an uncomfortable situation that lets you grow. What does an uncomfortable situation look like? Okay, you're tired of sleeping in. You're waking up at 5 in the morning when nobody else is. It's dark out. It's colder. It may be raining. You still go on that run every day, and that's the beginning of an uncomfortable situation. It's not sleeping in anymore and working out early in the morning. Not because it's practical to work out early in the morning, because it's practical to build mental discipline that you need to become this person in the future that you need to be to do what you want. And part of having freedom is not relying on comfort. You should love the discomfort because, like I said, you are here and you need to climb up that steep hill that's all the way up here. How are you going to do that? You're going to love the discomfort of falling down that hill, falling into the mud. Because if you don't, you're not going to make it on top of that hill. The third time you fall down and you're told no, you're rejected, you're not going to do it. So to grow is to be delusional. It's to really believe in yourself and not take no for an answer. You will be unstoppable if you can constantly take rejection, because every successful person was not immediately told yes. They did not have an easy route. A part of being delusional is knowing that no matter what curveball is thrown at you, no matter how many rock bottoms that you hit, that you will always get up and figure a way out. That's pretty much the episode. This one was short, but it's really straight to the point, and I don't really need to explain this to you because you're either going to get it or I'm going to have to drill it into your head. And it is a choice for you to understand. Choosing comfort is not the route. And if you want to grow, this is your sign to get up and do it. If you don't, that's your choice, but you're not going to do it tomorrow. You're going to make the same excuses that you did the day before, the day to day, and you're going to keep doing those habits. And that's fine. But I don't know about you, but I'm not one of those people where I'm going to be stuck in the same shitty life that I don't really like. No, I'm going to work for what I want. So that's episode 2. Stay delusional, believe in yourself, and remember that if you feel alone, if everyone's rejecting you and nobody's supporting what you're doing and it's something good that you believe in, you're in the right place. You're exactly where you need to be, because to grow, you need to go through these hardships. You need to be in the mud, because being in the mud and loving the process is the best part. It's not all the money. It's not the top. It's climbing the hill and finding the beauty and in the discipline and the grind. So you've got to fall in love with the grind. And that's what this episode really talks about. But seriously, fall in love with the grind. Fall in love with the idea of your future self. Fall in love with the rejections. Be okay with being told no, because no is the best answer, because then you can find your version of that yes. So I'll be posting again tomorrow. Remember, stay delusional, stay strong, and let's grow to become the best version of ourselves.